Triple H, a very divisive name in 2026. However, back in the day, Triple H was pretty cool to a lot of people. So I will go through the career of Triple H and I will try to put together a 2K showcase concept consisting of Triple H's career. There are so many wins within Triple H's career and so many losses, so you can either go through and relive major losses of Triple H or rewrite some of those big losses, and you can either relive some of those major wins or make the game suffer defeat in matches that he previously won. I have compiled 19 matches for this Triple H showcase. Let me know how you think I do down below. Like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe for more showcase videos in the future and just 2K26 content in general. But first, I just need to get this out of the way straight away. I know it is possible that some names that aren't involved in the WWE could be included, but I'm trying to stay as realistic as possible. So I have tried my best to not include matches featuring the likes of, and this is very difficult, Vince McMahon, Mick Foley, and Ric Flair. The Attitude Era was full of Vince McMahon shenanigans. Triple H has so many legendary matches against Mick Foley, and Ric Flair played such a pivotal role in Triple H's reign of terror throughout the Ruthless Aggression era to try to compile matches for, but I have done my absolute best, and I do break the rules a little bit, but I will explain myself away as I get to those matches. Let's start off in 1996. One of the biggest early losses in Triple H's career, as we saw Hunter Hearst Helmsley take on and be squashed by the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 12. You will unlock Hunter Hearst Helmsley 1996, the Ultimate Warrior 1996, and Sable. We haven't seen Sable in a single 2K game just yet. I don't know if there's a reason for that particularly, or if it is possible to include her, so I figured if she can be included, you can add her as an unlockable for this, and if not, Triple H can just not have a manager at his side, as well as unlocking the WrestleMania 12 arena. We then move on to a match after D-Generation X has been formed, and we get to December 7th, 1997's In Your House, D-Generation X. Triple H is taking on Sergeant Slaughter in a boot camp match, and you will unlock Triple H 97 in his In Your House street fight gear. Sergeant Slaughter, who hasn't been in these games in a while for some reason, China 1997 from DX In Your House, and the DX In Your House 1997 arena. The next match is just a match that I thought would be fun and get you some cool unlockables through this showcase. So at Rise War from December 15th, 1997, in a DQ loss, DX, Shawn Michaels and Triple H took on the Legion of Doom, Road Warrior Animal and Road Warrior Hawk. Again, I don't know why Legion of Doom just aren't included in any of these games. They haven't been included since WWE 13. Maybe it's contractual stuff, maybe there's just stuff I'm missing, but I think it would be really cool to have him back. And throughout this match, you will unlock Triple H 97 in this Raw attire, Shawn Michaels 97, Road Warrior Animal, Road Warrior Hawk, and interferences by the likes of China 97, Road Dogg 97, and Billy Gunn 97 in the Raw is War 1997 arena. I can already feel that some people probably rolled their eyes at a couple of those first matches, but this, I feel, is an undisputed great match in Triple H's career as he challenged for The Rock's Intercontinental Championship in a ladder match at SummerSlam 1998. So you will unlock Triple H 98 with his purple pants gear. I feel like Triple H in pants is so weird to see, but it would be so fun to get that as an unlockable in one of these games, as well as China 98 in her neon green gear. She was in the corner of Triple H. You also unlocked The Rock 98, and someone who was in the corner of The Rock, Mark Henry 98, who is recently returning to the game through 2K25's DLC, and you also unlocked the Intercontinental Championship from 1998 in the SummerSlam 1998 arena. We then jump from an Intercontinental Championship feud between Triple H and The Rock to a WWF Championship feud between Triple H and The Rock as we go to SmackDown August 26th, 1999. Triple H is defending the WWF Championship against The Rock with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee. You will unlock Triple H 99, China 99, The Rock 99, and Shawn Michaels 99, as well as the Attitude Era WWF Championship in the SmackDown Arena from 1999, and someone who interferes in this match, Shane McMahon, 1999. This is another one of those legendary matches in Triple H's career as he took on Stone Cold Steve Austin in 3 stages of Hell at No Way Out 2001. Triple H would get the victory 2-1 in these 3 stages, and there's no title on the line, nothing fancy, just an iconic match between 2 legends. You will unlock Triple H in his No Way Out attire, Stone Cold in his No Way Out attire in the No Way Out 2001 arena, and I think this would be extra special, especially considering the Drew versus Cody feud featuring a 3 Stages of Hell match. If we get 3 Stages of Hell as a stipulation in 2K26, now I'm filming this all the way back on January 4th, so if we get anything announced in the meantime, that is really cool, but we haven't gotten anything announced at the time of recording this video, so I think it would be cool to get that stipulation back into a game. We then get on to one of my first workarounds that I mentioned, because at Backlash 2001, the 2-man power trip would defend the WWF and Intercontinental Championships against the tag champions, Brothers of Destruction, in winner take all. Triple H and Stone Cold are victorious here due to somebody, so you will unlock Triple H 01 in his Backlash gear, Stone Cold Steve Austin 01 in his Backlash attire, which features red knee braces, Stephanie McMahon 01, Kane 01, The Undertaker 01, the World Tag Team Championships from this year, and the Backlash 2001 arena. However, we have very minor involvement from Vince McMahon throughout this match, and that very minor involvement leads directly to the finish, which makes it less likely than others to be included within this showcase, but I do think this is just such a cool match, such a pivotal match to include in the showcase. So if the Vince appearance is too much, I would probably just strike this match out completely and maybe replace it with some years that I didn't really touch on too much, like 2000, 2007, or 2008. We then move on to a Raw match from 2002 as Triple H took on Kurt Angle for a WWF Championship shot at WrestleMania 18. Triple H would lose a number 1 contenders match at No Way Out to Kurt Angle, but on the following Raw, Triple H would get another shot at going to WrestleMania, and he would defeat Kurt Angle here. So you will unlock Triple H 02 on Raw, Kurt Angle 02, the WWF 2002 Raw Arena, and on commentary here is Chris Jericho, but I do think in-game commentary is what will be used for the showcase, so I don't think that's really an issue. He doesn't really play a role in the match itself, so I do think Triple H versus Kurt Angle is possible to be included within a Triple H showcase. And I know they have probably some more legendary matches, but there is heavy involvement from some names that I just feel can't be included through the showcase whatsoever. And then jumping to 2002 in an iconic match between Triple H and legendary rival and former ally Shawn Michaels, we get Triple H versus Shawn Michaels in their unsanctioned match from SummerSlam 2002. You will unlock Triple H 02, Shawn Michaels 02 in his street gear in the SummerSlam 2002 arena. Triple H would continue his reign of dominance over the next couple of years, however, and that would go through winning the World Heavyweight Championship against Goldberg in a match that also included Kane at Armageddon 2003. This isn't exactly the most iconic match in Triple H's career, but I do think it would just be cool to get this version of Goldberg, this version of Kane, this specific version of Triple H. I think it would be nice. So you'll unlock Triple H 03, Goldberg 03, Kane 03, Batista 03 who gets involved, Randy Orton 03 who gets involved in the World Heavyweight Championship, as well as the Armageddon 2003 arena. And again, slight asterisks on this because Ric Flair pops in for a literal second before just getting flipped out of the ring. I feel like you can very much omit that within cutscenes. And again, the only real issue with this is that it takes place directly before the finish of the match. So if the finish of the match is a cutscene, it is more difficult to bypass that. But you can just take out the Ric Flair interference completely, I feel. And if the Ric Flair interference is too much, I think you could replace this match with a match that took place a month later, Triple H versus Shawn Michaels at Royal Rumble 2004 that I also mentioned in my Ruthless Aggression video, and their Last Man Standing match. That's probably a more iconic match to include, but I just felt that would pivot a little bit from the Shawn versus Triple H feud because we already got that covered in the 2K15 showcase to touch on a match against Goldberg and Kane. We then jump to Unforgiven 2004, and I have another asterisk on this one that I will get into in just a second, but Triple H wins the World Heavyweight Championship back from former protege who he had recently turned on, Randy Orton, who was holding the World Heavyweight Championship that he won from Chris Benoit, but we won't talk about that. Triple H 04, Randy Orton 04, and Batista 04 are your unlockables here, as well as the Unforgiven 2004 arena, but like all Evolution matches, Ric Flair also plays a role in this. However, again, it is very minor. non-substantial. Randy Orton takes care of him fairly easily, and Batista, as the muscle of the group, is the one to really turn the tides, so Ric Flair isn't too important in the grand scheme of this match. But if the Ric Flair interference is too much for you, you could replace this with the Randy Orton versus Triple H matches from Royal Rumble 2005 or either of their matches from No Mercy 2007. I just really like the Randy Orton gear here. But speaking of 2005, speaking of former proteges that Triple H had turned on, at Vengeance 2005, Triple H took on Batista inside Hell in a Cell for the World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H lost this match like he did all the other matches against Batista from this era, but you will unlock Triple H 05, Batista 05 in his white gear in the Vengeance 2005 arena. I really love this match. I know the WrestleMania 21 match is iconic. I know this is typically praised as their best match, and I do agree with that, so that's why I included this over the WrestleMania 21 match. As we get toward the end of the showcase, we just get a lot of Triple H WrestleMania matches because that's kind of where he was, especially going into the 2010s. So the first match that we have to start this off is in 2006 at WrestleMania 22, as Triple H took on and lost to John Cena for the WWE Championship. You'll unlock Triple H 06, John Cena 06 in the Spinner Championship, as well as the WrestleMania 22 arena. But I couldn't really find anything too substantial between 07 and 08, so I did jump to 2009 for WrestleMania 25, as Triple H took on Randy Orton, and despite this not being the best match of their heated rivalry, Ted DiBiase Jr., aka one of the members of Legacy, is involved in multiple of those matches, so there could be workarounds, but I do just feel this is the easiest match to include, and Triple H wins this match, so I feel like that just makes it so much easier to include over some of those other matches. You'll unlock Triple H 09, Randy Orton 09, in WrestleMania 25 arena. But keeping with WrestleMania, we jump 3 years again at WrestleMania 28, Triple H versus The Undertaker, end of an era, Hell in a Cell, Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee, another big loss in the career of Triple H. You'll unlock Triple H 2012, The Undertaker 2012, Shawn Michaels 2012 as a referee in the WrestleMania 28 arena, and I also feel that you could use the WrestleMania 27 match instead or alongside this, but I did just want to include the one match within this showcase. Jumping a year ahead, Triple H was enthralled in a bitter rivalry with Brock Lesnar. I thought about including their SummerSlam match, but I figured, again, Triple H wins this one at WrestleMania 29, and I really want to see the WrestleMania 29 arena in a showcase and just a game in the future if you haven't been able to tell through these other concept videos. So Triple H versus Brock Lesnar in a no-holds-barred match with Triple H's career on the line. Triple H gets the victory. You unlock Triple H 13, Brock Lesnar 13, Paul Heyman 13, Shawn Michaels 13 as a manager, and the WrestleMania 29 arena. But again, in this showcase, we're jumping 3 years ahead because at WrestleMania 32, Triple H will defend the WWE Championship against Roman Reigns unsuccessfully. Triple H 16, Roman 16, Stephanie McMahon 16, the WWE Championship 16, and the WrestleMania 32 arena will be your unlockables through this main event matchup. In the second to last match of this showcase, at WrestleMania 33, Triple H takes on his protege Seth Rollins in an unsanctioned match, and Triple H, yet again, takes a big loss. You'll unlock Triple H 17, Seth Rollins 17, and Stephanie McMahon 17, alongside another arena I would love to see in one of these games again, WrestleMania 33. Now the final match in the showcase I originally had as WrestleMania 35's Triple H versus Batista. I had remembered the finish of that match being Shawn Michaels helping Triple H, but I rewatched that match and it wasn't. It was Ric Flair, so I did just completely pull the match and replace it with something else. There could definitely be a workaround, but the match I did include was Triple H's final televised match, so I did think it would be more fitting to close out the normal part of the showcase. So at Super Showdown 2019, after defeating Randy Orton through multiple other matches of the showcase, Randy Orton defeats Triple H, and that is how you will end the showcase, unlocking Triple H 19, Randy Orton 19 in the Super Showdown 2019 arena. Before I get to some bonus matches, some honorable mentions are those matches with Foley I mentioned, specifically King of the Ring 97, Royal Rumble, and No Way Out 2000. I included 2 Rock matches in the showcase, but I did cut Backlash and Judgment Day 2000 because of mainly Vince McMahon involvement. I also neglected to include include Rumble 04 against Shawn, Rumble 05 against Randy, No Mercy 07 against Randy, WrestleMania 35 against Batista, an underrated gem of a match between Triple H and Stephanie McMahon taking on Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle. However, I didn't include that one because I don't think Ronda will make it into 2K26. There are probably plenty of other matches within Triple H's long, illustrious career that I have not included, so if there's something major that you can think of, let me know down below, and maybe even let me know what match within this showcase you would specifically replace with that match. But some bonuses that I can think of for this showcase include Jean-Paul Levesque as an unlockable. We've seen him in, I believe, 2K25 as a World Tour persona through my faction, but the other bonus is Terra Rising, Triple H's other persona from WCW. Looking at the Triple H WCW matches, I just couldn't find anything that I felt could really be included within the showcase. I think there are some matches against Alex Wright. I can't even remember some of the opponents. I didn't really jot them down because I just didn't think they were possible to include in the showcase. If you can think of a WCW opponent for Jean-Paul Levesque or Terra Rising, let me know down below, and maybe that can be considered a bonus match for the showcase. But it could also be something that I mentioned in previous videos, like an old era versus new era of Triple H, and you get Triple H 05 versus Terra Rising or something like that. So let me know what you think of this Triple H showcase, and leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for more concept videos like this in the future, and more 2K26 videos in the future. I do think this is my last showcase concept, at least for a little bit. And going into 2K26, whenever we get the showcase revealed, if I haven't already made a concept video for the potential showcase we could get, I'll probably make one final one for whoever we know our showcase star is, but I did enjoy making a lot of these concepts, and this will probably be the last one for the foreseeable future. So I hope you have enjoyed these, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.